Good morning. How is everyone today? Welcome to Spiderworking's weekly digital coffee Facebook Live. And I ran out of milk. I do have coffee though. I do have coffee. Here it is in my very fancy Le Creuset mug. Very tasty. How are you feeling this Friday morning? Did you have a good week? Did you get lots done, or some of it going to creep into your weekend? I try to avoid things creeping into my weekend. Hello, somebody has joined us. Say hi. What are you drinking? I have very strong coffee with no milk in this morning because I ran out of milk. I needed to do a Facebook Live, so I couldn't go to the shop to get any. So do let me know what you're drinking. Did anyone watch The Apprentice last night? If you are, and I'm imagining most of you thinking about the time of day that it is, are either in the UK or Ireland, probably know that The Apprentice, which in our country we have a guy called Sinead, we have in our country, in our episode, and in British Apprentice, there's a guy called Alan Sugar who plays the Donald Trump part, and the first episode is always very, very stressful. I don't know if you watching it feel like that too, but I always feel very stressed. And what amazes me is I'm sure that these people are all really good at business, in that they all have businesses and run businesses, but when they get into that environment and everything's a bit they seem to lose any ability that they had. Hey Kate, just talking about The Apprentice last night at the moment. So I wonder if any of us could survive in that sort of situation. Last night's task was they had to go and get some antiques. They had to pick out the good stuff and then try and sell it. And what surprised me was that nobody put a plan in place. They just went, buy this stuff, I'm going to do this. They didn't sit down and go, right, we need to get this much money out of this. This is the stuff. This is our strategy for selling. They just went straight out, boys and girls, both teams. Disaster. But like I say, I think it's the pressure of the competition. I'm sure if those people sat down for 5 minutes and thought about it without the pressure of video cameras and 18 other people around them, they perform much better. I see the 6 people here now. It's traditional to tell me what you're drinking. For those of you who missed it, I've got black coffee because I ran out of milk. Okay, so on to today's tasks. My Facebook board, that gives you a hint about what I'm going to say. My whiteboard this week is dominated by Facebook. Yeah, so much Facebook news. I was actually worried for a little while. Hey Laura, thanks for joining. Hi Eleanor, good to see you here. Hi Brian, I think it's your first time joining us. Black coffee too. Is that out of choice or because you ran out of milk too? And Marion's having coffee too, and Marion would have either black coffee or some other sort of milk in it, I imagine. And Kate, good old Kate with her tea. We knew Kate would have tea. Okay, so I was worried for a little while there'd be nothing but Facebook news, but there is a few other things. So it's all about Facebook, and it's a lot about Facebook Messenger. Out of choice, Brian. Okay, that's good. I'm not really a black coffee drinker unless it's espresso and I'm in Italy. Okay, right, so I'm going to pick up my cheat sheet so I remember what I'm supposed to talk about. My first 2 bits of news are about Facebook Messenger. The first one is no surprise to any recent regular viewers of this show. It's about Messenger and that war that Facebook are having with Snapchat. Thanks for all the hearts. I always love the hearts. Thank you so much. So, Messenger are testing a new feature called Messenger Day. It's in its test phase. And basically, it's Snapchat. It can do, I haven't been able to get my hands on it, so I haven't been able to test, but you can write on screen, you can be a bit bold and bubbly. It's basically a Snapchat interface. So this is added to the fact that they've added something similar to WhatsApp and the Instagram stories. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to have a story element to it or if it's just going to be the scribbling on pictures. But the interesting thing about this is that they've launched it in Poland. So this is very definitely looking at capturing people who aren't yet on Snapchat. In America, everyone's on Snapchat. But some other countries, the penetration isn't so deep. So by tackling Poland, for example, which doesn't have a large amount of Snapchat users, they're getting in there first. So why would they move to Snapchat if they can get the same thing on Facebook Messenger and it's not another tool to log into? So we can see our Snapchat Messenger war is continuing. I'm wondering what Snapchat are going to do. I keep waiting as if they're going to do something mega, as if they've been waiting for this moment. And apart from the spectacles that we talked about last week, which will be great fun, definitely buying them. I'm seeing the price point's going to be around $200. So it's expensive enough, but it's affordable. Snapchat have just launched their API for ads. And what that means basically is you're going to be able to use third-party tools to set up apps on Snapchat. And it means that hopefully it's going to be easier for smaller businesses to take part in ads. I'm still not sure if they'll be able to offer it at a competitive price because, of course, you can't interrupt stories too often. Hi, Una Ming. Thanks for joining. Surprising to see you awake at this time in the morning. Una Ming usually tunes in later. And see, I remember to say your name properly as well. I'm really chuffed with myself. Okay, right. So on to the next Messenger news. And this is a Messenger Lite. Messenger Lite is part of Facebook's bid for world domination. Because you may remember they've launched products to make it easier for people in developing world to access the internet. They've got this program that they call the 2G program, where employees are put on a 2G internet connection for 1 day a week so that they can develop products that will work in places where the internet is slow. And I do find that Facebook can be quite heavy on my internet, so we're not hopefully in a developing world country, but anything that could make it faster for me would be better. So this is something that they have launched specifically. I pronounced it right. I'm so happy. You're in Donegal. I've been watching you on the Wild Atlantic Way. I'm very fond of the Wild Atlantic Way. For anyone that doesn't know, Una is a travel blogger. See, I said it wrong there, but I'm doing my best. Una Ming is a travel blogger, and she's doing the Wild Atlantic Way at the moment. So Messenger Lite, what Messenger Lite is they've developed it and they've launched it in countries like Singapore, and that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. Places where the internet is quite weak. It's just for Android and it doesn't take as much internet to use. And that's basically all it is. Interesting there. So they're trying to beat Snapchat in Poland and they're trying for world domination with their Messenger Lite. And I think they're right, because whenever I'm asked about, what's the next big thing, what's going to happen, I'm always thinking it's about these private networks. It's about person-to-person interaction is becoming far more important when we look at things like chatbots, which we've talked about over the last 2 weeks, and when we've talked about WhatsApp a lot. All of this is a turning point because people seem to be a lot happier now having private conversations than those big public conversations that we used to when Facebook and Twitter were shiny and new. And you'll find that it's not just the reach on your Facebook page that means people don't comment so much on your Facebook posts. It's the fact that that's a public forum, because you'll find you'll get lots of interaction in groups. So it's worth thinking about that when you're thinking about your strategy. The next big news, and you couldn't have missed this, that's supposed to be a Facebook gold coin, is Facebook launched a thing that they are calling Marketplace. And this, although it's new this time round, this isn't the first time that Facebook have had an online trading space. Basically, it's an eBay for Facebook. There are already trading within groups, so you can go and join, say, a local group, a local buy and sell group, and people put stuff up for there. But Marketplace is kind of a larger version of that, where everyone on the internet can sell stuff. And I'm going to need to grab my notes here, so bear with me a second. So just to make sure I tell you everything I'm supposed to tell you. Okay, it's already happening in Facebook groups. It's not new. You used to have something, I don't think it was called Marketplace, but I remember a friend of mine putting a bike up for sale on Facebook. It's just not a lot of people knew about it or did it, so they discontinued it. So it made it a little bit harder to sell because people didn't know it was there. Whereas now I suppose they're doing a big splash on it. Everyone seems to know it's there. It helps you can search locally. So aside from eBay, where you might be looking at the whole world for some specific thing, you can actually look locally what's on sale close to you. So this is kind of replacing, well, not replacing, but it's like the notice board in the supermarket where you'd put up, I've got a couch for sale. Or it might be like those magazines that we know. It'll be interesting in Ireland to see how Done Deal react to this, but it's like sites like that, only they're bringing it on board. So less a competitor for eBay, I think, which is what everyone's saying, but more for those smaller local sites that sell stuff that way. At the moment, it's being launched in the US, the UK, Australia and New Zealand. So hopefully we won't have to wait too long, although I'm not sure I've got anything I want to put up for sale. Just like everything that Facebook does, it's almost like they throw them out before testing them properly now, because you may remember when they got rid of the trending team and they went to an automated system for trending, and it was supposed to work so you didn't get inaccurate information and straight away big lie content up there. And the same has kind of happened with Marketplace, and they're still working on it because people have put up for sale babies, drugs, guns and hedgehogs, all of which, apart from being a bit dodgy, breach Facebook's terms of service. And the fact that they've even been able to put them up for sale, you think they would have put some sort of algorithmic device in there to stop that happening. They are, of course, taking them down, and apparently they're working on a solution for that. I think this could be good for small business owners, or very small business owners. Like, I don't know if Joanne's there today. If you are, say hi. Joanne, who has a crafting business. So if you're a crafter, this could be an additional way to sell your stuff. Yes, you can do it on Etsy, but for your local market, this would be really, really useful. Will it replace the notice board in the supermarkets? Well, I think supermarkets need to stop being so strict. I love a notice board in a supermarket that's just covered in stuff that I need to root through. And if supermarkets want to be the heart of community selling, if that's a service they want to provide to be part of the community, they need to up their game, or local shops as well. Okay, one thing I didn't mention about Facebook Messenger, and I know Kate's here because she said hi and she was drinking tea, and I tried to send Kate a message this way this morning and it told me she needed to update her Messenger. So Kate, update your Messenger. Facebook have added encryption to their messages. Now, they did this on WhatsApp a long time ago, but encryption is a message that if it was intercepted, I'll have a read of that now in a second, Una. Una Ming, see, I did it again. I need slapping. So it means that if your message was captured in some way, it wouldn't be able to be read. It can only be read by the person you're sending it to. It's kind of a complicated process to describe, but it's pretty secure. It's like the other end has an encryption key. You have an encryption key, and it will stop anyone intercepting it. And of course, there are ways that people can intercept things when you're using public Wi-Fi specifically. So I think it's kind of cool. You can only do it from your Messenger app. You can't do it from the web. And like I say, both parties have to do it. And you have to start a new conversation each time, which is kind of annoying, and then click the secret button. When I played with it properly, I'll let you know more. Unaming says, that's very interesting to have the local aspect. I can see myself using it as I bought a lot of stuff through Facebook groups because you don't have to move from the app. I also think those spam messages that people post and share, Ray-Bans for sale, could spam people. Yes, okay, that's a really good point. I do think from the local aspect, it's going to be huge, and it's going to push it beyond groups, which I think will be nice. I wonder will we start seeing it in the news feed, because that will be really interesting too. It's going to be really interesting once we get it. It'll be lovely once we get it. I'll be able to see a man down the road that's selling a couch. I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I think it's the fact that it makes such a big network a little bit more personable. It makes me know I'm connected to my community again. I think that's nice. Okay, on to... This is the first time this logo has ever appeared on the whiteboard, and it's there twice. Periscope. Any Periscope users there? Just give me a Y if you're a Periscope owner. A Periscope owner, a Periscope user. Periscope basically is Twitter's version of Facebook Live, except it was there before Facebook Live. In fact, Periscope was the first ever live streaming network that I both watched and used. And I fell in love with it immediately. It was incredible because you could see people around the world sharing what was in their fridge or sharing the view, and you could tell them to go left or go right. You have it, Laura, but you haven't used it. Brian, have you used it? Have you actually streamed, or do you just watch? So I totally loved it from the get-go. I did a few Periscopes, nothing exciting, just stuff that was going around. At the last Learn Inbound, I did a quick Periscope when I was there, just for the hell of it. You have it too, Marion, but not used it. It's kind of cool. The reason I chose to do Facebook Lives instead of Periscopes was audience-wise, I felt I was reaching an audience I'd already built very specifically. So my Facebook page audience. And hopefully most of the people who see this are interested in learning social media news for small business. When I tried Periscope, I found it just attracted an awful lot of people in from across Periscope, not necessarily from across Facebook. Oh, sorry, across Twitter. So it wasn't